What's going on, beautiful people? Thank you for tuning in and watching. You guys know I love every single one of you. You're all amazing, wonderful beings. And I appreciate your appreciation of my videos. We're going to talk about DMT here. What is DMT? What is DMT? So DMT, to put it in simple terms, it's a chemical compound, okay? Just like anything else. Just like a vitamin. A vitamin is a chemical compound. If you haven't been paying attention to this reality we live in, it's all chemistry. Everything's chemistry. Your body's chemistry. It's a chemical lab and everything's chemistry. So even vitamins is a chemistry, right? Vitamin A has a chemical molecular compound structure. So DMT, it's N,N-dimethyltryptamine. That's its chemical name, right? And it's got a chemical formula. Now here's the thing about this interesting molecule, this interesting chemical molecule. It's found in thousands and thousands of plants and animals, mammals, which is really weird, really. Like, why is it there? Because, with nature, there's that saying, nature abhors vacuum. Everything in nature has a purpose. Everything serves a purpose. So DMT is found in thousands and thousands of plants and animals and mammals. In fact, in 1965, I don't know the fucking name of the guy, okay? I know it happened. Was discovered that DMT was discovered in the urine and the blood of human subjects. Okay, so we have it as humans. The controversy, which we'll talk about, is whether or not the pineal gland produces it. But we know we have it in our body. And we know it's been discovered, it's been found in human urine as well as human blood. Which makes you question, what is this DMT doing? Like, what is the purpose of the DMT and why is it in so many plants and why is it in so many animals? So the brewed ayahuasca, right, which is, usually, if you want to have an experience, usually, you can have them now in even North America. But if you want to have like an authentic experience of it, you go down to the jungles, right, the Amazon jungle. And the active compound that causes the experience, the spiritual experience of ayahuasca is DMT, right? It's processed differently. It's mixed up with different plants and it's consumed differently, right? With DMT in crystal form, you're smoking it and it's hitting you right away, right? It lasts for 15 to 20 minutes. And it's more intense in the moment. But with ayahuasca, it's sort of, the spirit comes on you and it lasts longer, right? It's consumed differently. You drink it, it's a brew. So that's the active compound found in the ayahuasca. And it's found in grass, like it's found in so many living things. So the mystery is, what is this DMT thing? Why is it here, right? And this is what we're going to talk about here. Now, there's a book called The Spirit Molecule. Joe Rogan did a documentary on it. You should probably watch that documentary. I think it's on Netflix, by Rick Strassman, right? And he takes some people and they experiment with DMT. And his findings are very interesting. Amongst one of them is that they all report seeing the same thing and experiencing the same thing and encountering the same entities, relatively speaking, right? And reporting the same experience, which was very interesting, right? So now here is the controversy, and this is not scientifically proved, right? We've proven that it's found in urine. We've proven it's found in human blood and urine. But the controversy is, and it's a speculation, that your pineal gland produces DMT and that it produces it in your dream state. It produces it when you're born, when you're dying, when you have a near-death experience. And this is what happens. Your pineal gland secretes this DMT molecule. Now, the implications of that are that, does it mean the DMT takes you to a different realm? Does that mean there is an afterlife and there's a pre-birth and that's the place we go to? That's not scientifically proven. But again, it's science. The way science works, it takes time to prove things. It's a analytical, objective enterprise. And then it's evidence-based, that is materialistic-based, right? It's gonna take a while before we prove this shit. But it highly is speculated that this is what happens. And it's no coincidence that people experience these similar sensations and similar experiences when they consume ayahuasca or when they smoke DMT. Now, people report seeing entities, like the machine elves, right? They report seeing entities, they report hearing or meeting their ancestors, which has happened to me on a mushroom trip. Meeting your ancestors, speaking to your ancestors, accessing the wisdom of the ancestors. People report seeing the light. They report being in the presence of very loving, very compassionate beings. They report feelings of being at home, of coming back home. Oh, this is home again. And what is really interesting about that is that if you were to take, say, 100 accounts of people who've had near-death experiences, right? And then you were to take 100 accounts of people who have broken through the DMT realm, you will find that they're talking about the same thing. It's really creepy. Really creepy. We're talking about people here who've never even fucking touched psychedelics. Just had near-death experience. You can go listen to them on YouTube, right? If you take 100 accounts of people never done psychedelics but had a near-death experience, you know, they had it in a hospital, they got in an accident or something, and they're essentially, their soul is passing to other realms. This is the theory goes that DMT just transports you from one dimension to another. And then you take 100 people who've never had a near-death experience, but they've had psychedelic, like major psychedelic experiences, either really on really high doses of mushrooms or LSD or broken through the DMT realm. You're gonna hear the same experience, and sometimes it's indistinguishable. Sometimes it's indistinguishable. And so that's what makes the speculation of the DMT being the chemical that transports your consciousness from one dimension to another a very strong case, a very strong speculation. And that is honestly, in my opinion, that's probably what it is, man. That is probably what it is. And so the speculation goes that when we're dreaming, there's small amounts of DMT that is produced in the pineal gland, which moves you, takes your soul, your consciousness into a different dimension. So you're in the higher dimension, the dimension of dreams, right? Call it the astral realm, call it, you know, this different people think you go to the astral realm, but you're going to different dimensions. The dimension of symbolism, the dimension of dreams, the dimension of metaphors, the collective unconscious, that is a different dimension altogether. That is the dimension of dreams. And we all dream. And it's like, why do we dream? Why do we dream? We don't need the dreaming to survive as humans, but we dream. And then the theory or the speculation goes that it's the DMT. There is minute, small amounts of DMT produced in your pineal gland when you go to bed. And so when you smoke DMT, you're taking in high doses, right? So you're being completely shot into that realm. Versus with the dream, you know, you're sort of, it's smaller, minute quantities of DMT, right? Versus like when you smoke it, it's like you're just shot into outer space. And when you take the brew ayahuasca, or when you have a near-death experience, because what happens in near-death experience is that now that's it, your body's convinced I'm gonna fucking die, right? Your consciousness needs to leave this body as peacefully as it can. So your body starts to flood you with DMT. And then it's like, oh, wait, you're back in here, right? And some people who have a near-death experience, they report like having experience with an angel who sort of brought them back in, right? Very interesting stuff. Very, 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 very interesting, right? And yes, scientifically we haven't proven yet that DMT is produced in the pineal gland, but honestly, like, just looking at the way things are, looking at people's experience, because we gotta value subjective experience, right? If we take 100 people who've had only near-death experience, never had a psychedelic experience, and we see that 100 other people who never had a near-death experience but have had a DMT trip, broken through to that realm, or a really, really high dose of psilocybin or LSD, and they've reported seeing things in that realm and talking to ancestors and seeing the light and being in the presence of beautiful entities, wonderful, compassionate beings, we gotta, yeah, I mean, we gotta honor our subjective experience here, right? But even to me, just that goes beyond subjective at this point. But now we're getting into the realm of objectivity. But of course, with science, it will take some time. But mark my words, like they're gonna prove it sooner or later, right? They're gonna prove it sooner or later. So yeah, that's what DMT is in a nutshell. It's a very interesting molecule that may very well be the programmer's way of this video game. The programmer's selected molecule, preferred molecule to transfer souls, consciousness, streams of consciousness from one dimension to another. I think, to me, to conclude this video, what I think DMT is, I think DMT is the chemical molecule that is programmed within this game, within this universe, this physical universe that we call the physical universe, but we know nothing's physical. It is the chemical molecule that is programmed to transport souls, to transport streams of consciousness from one dimension to the next. That is it. God bless you all. You're all amazing, wonderful beings. I love every single one of you. But don't forget to subscribe or you're gonna sleep with the fishes.